You have no argument, so you don't study this stuff. You say they don't take our jobs, and then you just don't have an argument, ma'am.
No, they don't take our jobs. They don't.
They do. They undercut Americans. That's just facts.
I don't think you really.
Your whole argument as a leftist would be that they are getting paid slave labor. They are slaves essentially in America.
Jeez, I'm sure glad I'm not on there. You know, but it was just a.
Why do you keep bringing it to kids? We're not talking about that, bro.
What?
You said you started by talking about PDFs whenever we were talking about Zionism. Now we're talking about the border, and you're talking about kids on milk cartons.
It's not just immigrants who are.
No, they don't. You have no evidence for that. They drive down wages, and now we need 50-year mortgages. That doesn't help. How does that help America? All it does is drive down wages. And now we need 50-year mortgages to have a house. That's not helping America, ma'am. It's harming America.
If you don't see how immigrants help, then that's on you.
Then you have no argument. That's too bad. So done with that shit. 45 minutes of that shit. Such fucking bullshit. Fucking stupid Floyd. Retarded Floyd. Spiking my cortisol.
You can read your.
Fucking stupid bitch.
What do you think about Donald Trump and how he's running the country? I honestly don't think he's doing anything for America right now. I think the immigration process is ridiculous. It started off with people saying that immigrants they're not paying taxes, they're taking money, they're taking jobs, etc. But that's not the reality. If immigrants come to America, they don't pay taxes. They're not allowed to pay taxes. First of all, and if they do get a good job, it's because they worked very hard for it. Americans, they work.
No, it's because they're being underpaid compared to actual American workers. Yeah, they're getting paid less for their labor, so it's undercutting American workers, right? So that's bad, right?
Say that one more time.
They're undercutting American workers with lower wages, unlivable wages for these immigrants. That's bad, right? Because it's akin to slave labor.
Joe Biden brought.
You have no argument, so you don't study this stuff. You say they don't take our jobs, and then you just don't have an argument, ma'am.
No, they don't take our jobs. They don't.
They do. They undercut Americans. That's just facts.
I don't think you really.
Your whole argument as a leftist would be that they are getting paid slave labor. They are slaves essentially in America.
White women, they have every.
No, they're not.
I want to step into
my
this
theory about Trump.
They come in through the
So you have no
border
arguments.
cartel.
You're just gonna make assertions, not actually back them up. That's great.
What are you, 20 or?
Come in through the
I'm 21, and I just pressed her on her argument, and she's not doing anything about it. She's sitting there just saying, "Oh, well."
There's too many people talking at once.
Listen,
I
I do
tell
know
you
how they come
21.
through the border. If you met people that they come through the border, it's horrific the things they have to do, and the fact that so many people were coming through the border illegally or legally. The cartel runs the border coming from Mexico into Texas. So what happens is they make them sell drugs. They make them do prostitution. They take advantage of them. The problem that people aren't seeing with the whole immigration policy is that these people are being taken advantage of for the light of a better life in America.
A racial profile.
So if, as a country, listen, as a country, if we're not
criminals and stuff out of America, I get that. But when it comes to, people walking the streets and racially profiling people, that's unacceptable. I think
That's totally
They
acceptable.
don't just racially profile people, they arrest criminals who have come across the border illegally.
So why
It's
is
not-
there kids
It's
locked
not
up in
just random
cages?
people.
It is random people. It is random people, though.
That I work with this Mexican just because he's Mexican. They don't just pick up people who have boards and are here illegally that need to go back to their country. And it's sad. We all get that. But at the end
It's
of the
not
day,
sad.
too many people came through the border. And what happened? Lots of people died. Lots of people got raped. Lots of kids got raped in the process. And lots of because of that. So what would you do if you were the president of the United States and they gave you an option? Do you want these people to come here illegally through the cartel with the coyotes that take advantage of you, push drugs, allow allow all this illegal shit to go on, or would you want it to minimize it? I mean, I would.
Okay. Do you
I've had
understand
people
the
die
process
from fentanyl. So
immigrants have to go through to get
yes, I've met
citizenship in the
personally.
U.S.?
I've personally knew
Do you
people
know how
that
much
have
it
came across the
costs?
border.
Do you know how much it costs?
It's affordable. I
$1,000.
personally know people that
It's
have done it legally and illegally. And I have
it's not
sympathy for
affordable.
people
It's
that want
not
to come
affordable.
across the
Shouldn't be
border.
affordable.
But the
Even
problem
the legal
is with the
immigrants come here
Biden
and undercut
administration,
wages.
there was a lot of people that were coming, so the coyotes and the cartel took advantage of them, and they raped little kids. They used people to prostitute in big cities. They use people to push drugs. They use it to their advantage, the cartel. Now, so you're saying that they're not just picking up random people, they're picking up cartel members. They're picking up people who are pushing drugs in the streets of America. They're doing what's
Picking up
right.
children, they're taking families.
You guys want to
If
hear
if
something that's crazy from the 70s? You go to the store with your mom, right? You're shopping, and then the milk cartons on the back of a milk carton showed a missing kid. And you're thinking in your head, going, geez, I'm sure glad I'm not on there, But it was just
Why do you keep bringing it
it's
to
just,
kids? We're not talking about that, bro.
what?
You said you started by talking about PDFs whenever we were talking about Zionism. Now we're talking about the border and you're talking about kids on
It's
milk
not
cartons?
just immigrants who are affected by this process. It's every race. It's white people too. That woman who got shot in the face,
yes,
a U.S. citizen. There's plenty of U.S. citizens
That
getting
was an
taken in just
insurrectionist.
because they have that power to. Because Trump has given them that power to. So
Trump gave him power to
honestly,
put down the insurrectionists.
that
Can you
people
show
don't
me
see
the...
the evil behind. You
that's
got
not
to
the
look
point.
behind the
When it
scenes of the
gets
evil that's going
to a
on.
point where
You're not. You're looking
Americans
at,
are
okay,
scared,
there's a
where
family.
kids are scared,
You're
and people are afraid to go out and live their lives, that's a problem. I get,
That's too bad. You shouldn't be
wanting to make
illegal.
America better. I get wanting to get immigrants out of America,
okay.
whatever.
So
But
take this for
immigrants do
example,
play a
Brianna. Take
great
this for
part
example.
in
Go to
America.
Mexico
No, they
and hang out
don't.
in
You
the
have no
cartel.
evidence for that.
Hang
They
out in the
drive
cartel
down
and
wages,
try
and
to
now we
push
need
drugs.
50-year
They give them
mortgages. That
houses,
doesn't help. How does that help America? All it does is drive down wages. And now we need 50-year mortgages to have a house. That's not helping America, ma'am. That's
Okay, well,
harming America.
if you don't see how immigrants help, then that's on you.
Then you have no
But
argument.
Of
That's too
course.
bad.
that
Listen,
it's just
You
we
never
don't
have an
see
Brianna,
it this
argument.
way.
I
Brianna.
bring
You
something
don't.
up. I bring up facts, and you just provide no argument against it. You say, oh, well, too bad you don't know how immigrants make America better. Yeah, they drive the
Just have
GDP
to
up,
do your
and they drive
research on it.
wages
But
down,
my
and they
point
make
is,
housing
when it
causes
gets to
unlivable.
when it gets to a point where people are afraid, when it
And
gets to a
saying you
point where
have to
you
do
have
the research
soldiers
on it
marching
isn't an
down the streets,
argument.
terrorizing schools, businesses,
Hey, I have
that's a
something to say real
problem.
quick.
It's inhumane.
Listen,
It is.
if
It's not
Brianna, if
inhumane.
you sympathize with the
It's
people that are
inhumane to be
afraid
an
to come across the
insurrectionist.
border and get deported back to Mexico, why don't you go to Mexico and hang out in a cartel city for about a month and understand that there's different countries that roll different ways? Go to Mexico and
Okay,
hang
I'm
out in a
not talking
cartel
about
city
Mexico.
and
I'm
try to
talking
push
about
drugs.
America
But
and
that's
what's
the
happening in
problem.
America.
That's the problem. See, we have law and order in America. In some countries, they don't have law and
Actually, sir,
order.
that's a logical fallacy.
If you have law
Whataboutism.
and order Mexico.
Sir, you're using a whataboutism,
You go
and
to
that's not a
Mexico-
part of this. That's a logical
You're talking
fallacy.
over him, and I'm trying to hear him.
Yeah,
Dude,
because he's making a logical
Let me hear him.
fallacy.
If you go,
That's a logical fallacy.
Yeah, but go to. I'm giving her.
I'm
With her.
listening.
A logical
She's
fallacy.
saying that they're afraid that they're going to be taken away. I want her to go to Mexico for a month and a half and hang out in a cartel city and see how they treat her. If the immigrants are being deported legally with ICE agents, and that's so terrific. Go to Mexico and hang in a party and see how far.
You're cutting out, and that's a whataboutism.
Understand she's arguing without real base. There's no base to that, because if you look at what about the people, the families, what about you going to Mexico and hanging out with the cartel?
Sir, do you know what a
See how it
logical
goes.
fallacy is?
I don't
It
really
means
get,
an argument
I don't really
that is
get the point
fallacious.
of what you're trying to say. I really don't.
What I'm trying to say is that America has law and order for a reason. If we didn't have law and
Right.
order and borders, we wouldn't survive. Every country would come here. Now, with that being said, let's take our country of people, you per se, and go to Mexico and hang out in a cartel-ran city
Oh, trust me,
and
I know
see
how
how well
Mexico
you
is.
do.
I know. But
Right.
like
So
I
would
said,
you go there? Would you go there?
Would I go to Mexico? Yeah.
And
Yeah, I would. Americans go to Mexico
would you go
every
and
day.
hang out in a cartel city?
Why would I though? That's not safe for me as a woman. Why would I go hang out in
Right.
a cartel city?
So what
you
I'm
know what I
saying
mean?
is that's
And
why
that is the
America
reason why
is
immigrants
the way
do
it
come
is.
to America is because it's not safe for them.
And that's why your argument's
Right.
logically not sound, because it just devolves to this. Yeah, she wouldn't go to Mexico City where there's a bunch of fucking illegal people shooting people with guns. Like,
Right.
of course
And
not.
that's why America
That has
is
no
sought
argument
after.
or bearing on what we're talking about.
Yeah, why would someone want to go to some place that's such a negative? I don't think so.
Not even a fact. It's not even a fact.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
why-
you saying
that's
you
why
wouldn't go
there's
to
law
Mexico.
and order
Yeah,
here.
you wouldn't go to India,
well, you
right,
wanna-
bro? They stink.
Hey, you want to go on vacation? There's a volcano. They have tents on it. You
Fucking
can go
stupid.
sit up on there.
I'm gonna say I do agree with the immigration. I get it, but my point is when it gets to the point where like people are just very brutal with it, and it's more of like a racist thing.
Can I ask you a
Because I
concise
get making
question?
America better. Let's deport the fucking immigrants who let's deport the immigrants who, have criminal records, who aren't doing the work in America to be a citizen, whatever, etc. But when it gets to the point where kids are scared to go to school, businesses have to close down, it doesn't just affect brown people, it affects the white people too. And what really bothers me is you just have to do your research on it and see who it really is affecting. It's affecting everyone. The little kids who are gonna grow up and be an adult in society, they're gonna have that with them. White kids, black kids, Mexican kids who are in school, they are dealing with this too. So that's what I just don't like about it. I just feel like there needs to be more order. In some ICE people, they are terrorizing people who, they don't even know if they don't have a warrant for. It's everyone. So it just feels a little bit dystopian when you go outside and you see.
You don't have to have a
happening.
warrant to detain people.
And
You
it
just have to have
affects-
reasonable suspicion that a crime was committed, man.
No, see, that's not right though.
That is
That's
right.
not
That is
right.
the
That's not
law.
what they're doing. They're
That is the
arresting
law.
people that they know are here illegally. The
And
government
that is
knows.
what
And they are
should be doing.
detaining for
They know.
investigation too. And that's fine. That's what law enforcement does. That's
So,
what they do
are you
whenever
a
they
big-
pull you
so
over in
are
the
you a big
streets.
I
thing over
thought
the
they were
law?
supposed to only
Are
deport
you a
the
big thing over the
criminals,
law? Do you
right?
care
If
a
they
lot
know
about
they're a
the law?
criminal, they should have records about it. They should have a warrant for them. You
So-
shouldn't go up and,
Yeah,
that's
you
racist.
saying
What
you
just said, that's
shouldn't
racist.
isn't an argument. You're not providing
should
facts. You're
not
just
go
saying
up
you
to the family
shouldn't.
just because they're
The facts
a
are, the law is,
terrorize
if you have
because
reasonable
you think they
suspicion
might
that a
not have
crime has
warrants.
been
You
committed,
should
you
too.
have the right to
That's not
detain
right.
them.
That is not what America
Ma'am, that's
is
not
about.
the law. You
It's
aren't
not
making an
free.
argument. That's not an argument.
You're not. You're not.
No, I am. I'm saying the
That's
law
what
is that you get to
America is
detain
about.
people that
It's
you
supposed to
think
be about
are committing a
freedom.
crime,
What
and you're
they're
just
doing
saying,
is not
well, it
that.
shouldn't be that way, and I hate it, and I think my feelings should trump the law. I think you're retarded. I think you're
retarded.
fucking brain dead.
I
Hey,
think you're
listen.
retarded because
You
you're
know,
talking
Can't
over
use that
everyone.
They have.
Hey, how about you provide an argument? I was pretty
They
nice.
have. Hey, dude, shut the hell. They have.
So done with that shit. 45 minutes of that shit. Such fucking bullshit. Fucking stupid Floyd! Retarded Floyd! Spiking my cortisol!
You can read your.
Fucking stupid bitch!